Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.
Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. Are Mayte militants guilty of burning to ashes 357 churches and other buildings belonging to the Christian community in the Imphal Valley of Manipur? And is the Bharatiya Janata Party an anti-Christian party? Those are two charges leveled against the party and the Mayte community by the former vice president of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Mizoram. He now joins me from Aizol to discuss and explain his views. My guest is Mr. R. Vanramchhuanga. Mr. Vanramchhuanga, on Thursday, the 13th of July, you resigned as vice president of the BJP in Mizoram, accusing the BJP of being an anti-Christian party. In your resignation letter, you wrote, 357 Christian churches, pastor quarters, and office buildings belonging to different churches were so far burnt to ashes by Mayte militants. Let me start by asking you, how sure are you, how confident are you that this was done by Mayte militants?
Good morning, Mr. Thank you very much. Yes. Actually, I am here in Aizol, not in Manipur. Very often we are hearing news reports, journalists report that such a number of 357 church buildings, including pastor quarters and church offices, have been burned. So this number have been confirmed very often by Joe Reunification Organization, which conducted its protest here in Aizol. And from also, I got news and other reports from the ground reports also. That's why I confirm that this number of buildings have been burned.
So you are absolutely certain that Mayte militants are responsible for burning 357 churches and other Christian buildings. You're absolutely certain of that?
I'm certain in the sense that the burning have been done by the Mayte volunteers, known as the Arambai Tangal and Mayte Lipun, and like that. These volunteers very often attack the tribal cookies, their homes and their churches. That's why I confirm that these burning are done by the Mayte volunteers.
And you believe that the people responsible are Arambai Tengol and Mayte Lipun?
So far as I know, you see, I do not see myself, but as per the reports, I believe it, yeah.
The reason I'm asking you 2 or 3 times is because on Saturday the 15th, the Mayte Christian Churches Council attempted to hold a protest in Delhi alleging that 1.5 lakh Mayte Christians in Manipur, and I'm now quoting from them, have been under attack by kooky Christians, and hundreds of Mayte Christians have been forced to take shelter in relief camps. Separately, we've been told by Mayte students that kookies are deliberately destroying Mayte churches in the valley to give Mayte Hindus a bad name. If all of that is true, it directly contradicts your claim that Mayte militants, Arambai Tengol, and Mayte Lipon are responsible. How do you therefore respond to what the Mayte Christian Churches Council is claiming?
Mr. Thapar, you see, there are only about 10 Mayte churches in Churachandpur. You can verify through your friends that these churches in Churachandpur town are safe even now. None of them are touched or destroyed by the kooky volunteers. And in Imphal, you see, from the starting day, that was 3rd May, the Mayte militants, Mayte volunteers started burning their the homes of the kooky and their shops and their church buildings. You see, all kookies, means all kooky tribals, had to flee because of the rampaging activities of the Mayte militants. They had no chance to burn the Mayte churches in Imphal. You see, the Mayte churches were built by the tribal Christians. How shall they burn their churches? So what I want to say is that they had no chance to burn the Mayte Christian churches in Imphal, and in Churachandpur city, all church buildings are safe even now.
So you're saying to me that the claim made by the Mayte Christian Churches Council that it is kookies who have destroyed Mayte churches in the valley, that claim is false. You do not believe it?
Absolutely false. It is a false allegation. See.
What about the second allegation, again made by the Mayte Christian Churches Council, that 1.5 lakh Mayte Christians in Manipur have been under attack by kooky Christians? What about that?
That also is a false allegation, because in Imphal city, no Mayte Christians were attacked by the kookies. So far as I know, in Churachandpur city, Churachandpur town, there were some Mayte Christians. So by that time, they wanted to flee to Imphal. They escorted them to military camps. And kooky volunteers told them that we are going to burn your homes, your houses, so you flee, you go away from here. Then they gave them safe journey. So these allegations are completely false. Yeah.
Then tell me this, Mr. Vanramchhuanga, how do you explain the fact that Mayte Christians are leveling charges against kooky Christians? This is a case of Christians from two sides leveling charges against each other because they're both Christians. Why are they leveling this charge?
This counter charges and counter charges are going on. You see, firstly, the churches belonging to the kookies or the tribal people, tribal Christians, have been burned. It has been reported. And after that, seeking justifications from the people or from the government side, the Mayte Christians, I believe, they have made these wrong allegations.
Let's come back.
You see, yeah.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
Okay. Mr. Thapar, if you want to verify these things, what I'm saying, you can verify at the spot to prove it.
We were right at the end of that particular point when the Zoom link broke. So just to repeat, you stand by what you wrote in your resignation letter of the 13th of July, that 357 Christian churches, pastor quarters, and office buildings belonging to different churches were burnt to ashes by Mayte militants, and you believe that these Mayte militants are most likely to be members of either Arambai Tengol or Mayte Lipon. You stand by that.
Yes, I'm standing, yeah.
Let's then go back to your resignation letter. You wrote, and I'm quoting, "I do believe that massive demolition of Christian churches in Manipur was supported by the state and central authorities. Separately, while speaking to the organization The Print, you went one step further. You said, and I'm quoting, the most irresponsible people behind this conflict are Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh and Union Home Minister Amit Shah. They failed to protect the victims, the Christians." Are you absolutely certain that Biren Singh and Amit Shah are behind this? Do you have proof to support that accusation, sir?
You see, there was a conflict, a war between two groups in Manipur. In the process, such a number of churches were burnt. Normally, if there is any war between different groups, there are some consequences. But here in Manipur, burning of the churches were seen as pre-planned, because wherever the villages were burned or in the Imphal city, the church buildings were intentionally approached by those people, according to the reports I received. So, after such a number of church buildings were burned, you see, the churches were belonging to the Christian religion, Christian community. When any particular religious is hurt by another group of the citizens, the chief minister of a state has moral and political responsibility to safeguard the victims. But Mr. Biren Singh did not say anything. After that, Mr. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, went there in Imphal. He stayed there 2 nights, and he saw himself the damages. But he didn't say anything. You see, he is in charge of the security of the citizens in all the states, not only in Manipur. You see, if the Union Home Minister visited the place, visited Imphal, it was supposed that he should say something, he should condemn the culprits, but he didn't say anything. After seeing the images, if he keeps quiet, it implies that he is agreeing with those incidents, with those actions. That is how I finally say that they are supporting.
So you stand by what you said, and I'm just repeating it so the audience are clear. The most irresponsible people behind this conflict are Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh and Union Home Minister Amit Shah. You stand by that?
Yes, I'm standing, because they are the final authority in the state and in the center.
It also seems you're going one step further. You're accusing the Home Minister Amit Shah of dereliction of duty.
Right.
Is that yes?
Yes. Yeah.
And when he fails to support Christians whose churches are being deliberately targeted by Mayte militants, then it's not just dereliction of duty, it's also failing to live up to moral responsibility. You're saying that as well.
That is quite right. Yes, sir.
So, in short, you're saying the Home Minister has failed his oath on the Constitution.
Yes, we can say he fails to his oath to the Constitution because the Christians in Manipur are the good citizens of India. He has to protect them from any danger, whether it is for their personal or their religion. You see, in the Constitution of India, every citizen is given the freedom of religion. If in Manipur their churches are broken, their churches are burned down, that means there is a broken of law. In that case, if the state chief minister doesn't say anything, at least the home minister should say something to protect them, to guard them, to give them safeguard. That's my idea.
But the Home Minister said nothing either.
Nothing till now. Whether he says something to officially, but in the news we don't hear anything.
So you feel let down by the Home Minister.
Right.
Now, speaking to the print, you made one further point. You said, and I'm quoting you, the leaders of our country have not said anything to condemn this violence or console the victims. They've been silent till now. The truth is, Mr. Vanramchhuanga, the one person who's refused to say a single word in public for over 75 days is the Prime Minister. So let me ask you about Mr. Modi. How much do you blame him, first, for his deliberate silence, and secondly, for failing to respond adequately as Prime Minister to the crisis in Manipur?
Yes. Prime Minister is the head of the government at the center. He is constitutionally and politically and morally responsible to safeguard his citizens, not only in the sense of the religion. Many people, many citizens have died in Manipur. Many good citizens, many innocent child, innocent women have been killed. Why is he still keeping mum? Why don't they take the responsibility of the state administration? Why don't they place under the president rule and take the administration directly? Why don't they say anything to safeguard, to condole, to comfort the people, especially the tribal people in Manipur? Why don't they say anything to safeguard the Christians in Manipur whose church buildings have been burned? As the Prime Minister, since he is keeping quiet, he doesn't say anything, I believe, I say he is totally fails to protect his people, his citizens.
You began your answer by saying, and I'm quoting you, The Prime Minister is head of government. He is constitutionally, politically, and morally responsible to safeguard his citizens. Does it therefore follow that the Prime Minister has failed his duty constitutionally, politically, and morally? In all three respects, he's failed his duty.
That is my idea. That is how I judge him.
So in your eyes, the Prime Minister is a failure?
Yes, Prime Minister is a failure. You see, due to his silence till now, the image of the BJP party, as well as the BJP government in the center or in the state, is tarnishing. Even when further election comes, I expect that the people will reflect their idea.
I'll come to the elections in a moment's time. Let me first bring up something else you said to the print. Speaking about the BJP, now it's your former party. You officially resigned from the BJP on the 13th, which is 5 days ago. But speaking to the print, this is what you said about the BJP. I never believed this earlier, but now I am convinced that the BJP is an anti-Christian party. Do you stand by that?
Yes, I say it is anti-Christian party in the sense that the Manipur Chief Minister is a BJP government, BJP Chief Minister, and Mr. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, is a BJP minister. So long as they do not give any attitude to the suffering of the Christians. This is normally it is anti-Christians, against the Christians. They are neglecting the interest and the welfare of the Christian community. That is why I say they are the anti-Christian party.
Tell me something else. The Arambai Tengol and the Mayte Lipon, who you believe are responsible for the burning to ashes of 357 Christian churches, pastor quarters, and other buildings belonging to the Christian community. These two organizations, Arambai Tengol and Mayte Lipon, are very close to the BJP. They are very close to the Chief Minister in particular. The Arambai Tengol looks upon Mr. Biren Singh as their patron. Pramod Singh, who is the head of the Mayte Lipon, has actually issued a notice to say, I hero worship the Chief Minister. Do you think this is being done deliberately? Is there a Hindu versus Christian element coming in here?
The relation between Arambai and Mr. Biren Singh is beyond my knowledge. You may know much better than me. And anyhow, yes, their activity is beyond the constitutional safeguards.
But do you suspect that there are Hindutva elements involved? Is this being done deliberately? Is this part of a saffronization attempt?
I cannot, I attribute it, but I do not deliberately accuse them as Hindutva agents or like that. What I say is that the Arambai Tengol or Mayte Lipun are only the active workers. That Hindutva or anti-Christian activities is only the attributed from their actions. It may or may not be beyond their actions.
Let me ask you this. Do you regret joining the BJP? I know you've resigned 5 days ago, but was it a mistake to join the party to begin with?
No, I don't regret. I joined it because I want that some development works should be done here in Mizoram. You see, Mr. Modi's government is working very hard for the development of the country. I wish some work should be done here in in Mizoram also. But I have been in the party for about 5 or 6 years. We cannot get the MLA or we cannot make the government. Now that such incident, which is very, what shall I say, destructive for the Christians in Manipur. These things very hurt my mind. So I don't want to be with the BJP. That's why I resigned.
Tell me something, Mr. Vanramchhuanga. You've said some very tough, critical things about the BJP. You said it's an anti-Christian party. You've said some very tough, critical things about the Home Minister. You said Mr. Amit Shah is responsible for what has happened to Christian churches and Christian people. You said the Prime Minister has constitutionally, politically, and morally failed. These are very strong words. Are you worried about the BJP's response? Are you at all apprehensive of what they may say or do to you?
No. Whatever they may say, they shall say. That is my idea. That is my perception. To me, hello, battery is running down at the time. To me, these things are very serious things. That is why I say these words. I don't care whatever they say upon me. I don't care whatever judgment they made against me. That is my personal idea.
Let me, because as you said, the battery is running down at your end, broaden the discussion quickly.
Yeah.
There is no doubt that there has been a marked anti-Muslim atmosphere in our country since 2014 when Mr. Modi first became Prime Minister. As a Christian, do you feel the environment against Christians has also turned adverse and disadvantageous? Just as Muslims are suffering, do you think Christians are also suffering nationwide?
Here in Mizoram, we don't have such kind of problems. No problem here in Mizoram. But in other parts of India, I hear and I heard some reports that some problems for the Christians is failed. And some Christians in Uttar Pradesh are imprisoned because of they are being the Christians. That's the reports we receive. It may be worse than before.
So under Mr. Modi, the environment for Christians in India has deteriorated fairly significantly.
The environment for
Christians has deteriorated under Mr. Modi as Prime Minister.
Yeah, many scholars and many theologians are saying like this. You see, I am only one Christian, a church elder here in my locality. I don't have much experience in the other parts of India. But some persons say like that, it is decreasing.
One last issue quickly. On Thursday the 13th, the day you resigned from the BJP, the European Union Parliament debated what's happening in Manipur and they passed a resolution. In that resolution, and I'm quoting, they called upon the Indian government to protect all religious minorities, such as Manipur's Christian community, and to preempt further escalation. The government, for its part, called this interference. It said it was unacceptable. It said it was proof of a colonial mindset. As a Christian, was the European Parliament right in debating Manipur and telling the Indian government to protect Christians? or was it interfering as the government claims? What's your opinion?
Yeah, it is interfering in the sense that the issue is the internal matters of India. But they have the right to interfere if they want. You see, regarding Bangladesh also, let me say one example. When Bangladesh war was fought, India supported Bangladesh, but India was interfering with the Bangladesh. But that was not accepted by Pakistan. Just like that, in the interference of EU Parliament is not acceptable to India. That is quite right. It is its own right to judge it unacceptable. I have nothing to say regarding that thing.
But if I understand correctly, what you're saying is this: just as Indian ministers and the Indian government comment about things that happen to Hindus in Pakistan, we constantly criticize Pakistan for mistreating Hindus. Similarly, the European Parliament also has a right to criticize India if things happen to Christians in India. There's no difference between the two. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
My last question: what impact will all of this have on the BJP's electoral performance in the Northeast? Let's first start with Mizoram. You have elections in your state in November. What impact will this have on the BJP's prospects in Mizoram?
In Mizoram, these Manipur incidents shall have a bad effect in Mizoram election for BJP. You see, we are all Christians. Seeing and hearing the incidents in Manipur, how the churches have been burned under the government of Mr. Biren Singh, and Biren Singh being the BJP chief minister. That is why people are blaming Mr. Biren Singh as a BJP chief minister to intentionally inflict these sufferings to the Christians. That is why it shall have bad effects in Mizoram. That is my belief.
The Northeast, of course, consists of 7 states, but they're very close to each other. There is a lot of interlinkage, cultural, ethnic between the states. If the BJP's prospects in Mizoram are going to suffer, what will be the BJP's electoral performance like in the rest of the Northeast? Could the BJP suffer similarly in the other states of the Northeast?
If elections are to be held next year or in the near future, it will be suffering. But you see, elections are just have held here in the Northeast states. It is difficult to say what will happen after 2 or 3 years. You see, human mind is forgetting many things. Many people may forget these things after 2 or 3 years. That is difficult to say.
But you are certain that when elections happen in Mizoram in November, the BJP's performance will go down sharply.
Yeah. November, it is only 2 or 3 months from now. It will remain in their mind. That is nature, human nature.
Mr. Vanramchhuanga, I want to thank you for this interview. I want to thank you for speaking openly and boldly. And I hope that the critical things that you said about the BJP, the Home Minister, and the Prime Minister do not lead to any retribution against you. Take care. Okay. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism: but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.